This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Volusia Today. I'm Clayton Jackson, along with the Volusia County Community Information Division. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Volusia Today is made possible by our sponsors, the Daytona Beach International Airport, the Ocean Center, Volusia Recycles, and Votran Public Transportation. Today, I'm joined by Heather Belden. Heather is one of our division's marketing specialists, and might I say, an expert in the world of social media. So good morning, Heather.
Good morning.
So how are things going with you?
Very good. Gearing up for Father's Day weekend. We've got a lot of awesome dads in our lives, so we have a lot of fun things planned. And happy early Father's Day to you, Clayton.
Well, I appreciate that. So, we're very excited. My wife hasn't filled me in on any details what we're doing. So, on Mother's Day, I make the kids keep it a secret what we're going to do. So, maybe she's returning a favor for that. But, Lauren, if you're listening, one of those Blackstone grills or even an automatic pool cleaner, I've had my eyes on those for a while.
Hint, hint.
Just a few hints out there. Today we are joined by some people from our Beach Safety Division. We have Deputy Chief Tammy Malphurs and Captain A.J. Miller. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
So, summer is in full force. School's been out for a few weeks, and there's no shortage of travelers to our wonderful community and our beaches. So, with all the travelers coming over the last few weeks, the Beach Safety Division, you all have been extremely busy, especially with rip current safety and all that. So over the last few weeks, tell us about what have you all experienced out on the ocean?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some really rough waters. Normally, this time of year, the water's flat as it is right now, and it's calm. But we've had some really rough waters, some bigger surf, and you talked about the amount of people coming in. It shows. I mean, up until last night. From the start of the year, we've pulled 1,202 bathers out of the water. 1,202.
Is that typical or is that a little bit high?
It just depends on the weather. We've had years that have been higher than that. Memorial Day weekend a few years ago, we rescued about 500 people out of the water just in the weekend alone. So it is a little higher than average for right now, but we've seen those numbers before, and so. We're seeing a lot of people travel to the beach.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Memorial Weekend alone, we had 302 bathers we pulled out. And just from Memorial Weekend till now, we're at 643. So you can definitely tell we have more people coming in now as the summer's here and schools are out.
So they see the beautiful weather on the beach, say, hey, it's a sunny day, it's hot, I'm just going to take a dip in the ocean. And that's when, a couple weeks ago, when the rip currents were bad. That is very deceiving, isn't it?
Yeah, we had really rough water during Memorial Weekend, and now going into a little bit of flatter water. There's a misconception that the water's calm. It's very inviting. We call it Lake Atlantic, but there's still potential dangers out there. We still do have rip currents even though the water's flat. So there's still things to watch out for.
What percentage of rescues are rip currents, and what does that look like?
Rip currents, it's about 80% of all water rescues are contributed to rip currents, and that's around the country.
So, well, obviously, we were talking about rip currents, how dangerous they are, and like you said, most of the water rescues that you all conduct are rip current related. But tell our listeners out there, what are some other reasons that lifeguards would have to initiate a rescue and go into the water?
So there's some other things we were kind of chatting about earlier, and we were talking with Heather last week about this. One of the big things we're dealing with now is our west winds. That means they're blowing from the shore out into the water. Especially with this flatter water, it's very inviting. People they bring their pool floats out, their boogie boards, their stand-up paddle boards, and they're not really focusing on the wind. And as they're out there playing, that wind slowly pushing them out. Or they're like, man, I'm really flying as I'm going out into sea, paddling as fast as I can. And they turn around and they have difficulty coming back in because of that wind. So if they're far enough out with the paddle boards, that's where we usually launch a jet ski. Or the floats, our lifeguards will go out and get them. Another thing we have is in our county we have two piers and 2 jetties. With that, we do have oftentimes a lateral current, which means the current's flowing along the shoreline. Well, people don't realize they go out a little too close, or maybe they just drift down as they're playing in the water, and they encounter those piers and those jetties. And especially this time of year, we have staff at those structures to try and avoid the bathers getting entrapped with those structures, or to be there just to help them if they get in trouble.
And like he said, with that lateral current, people really need to be aware of that, because they take children, or they're in the water and they don't realize that next thing they know they're a half mile down the beach, and that's how people kind of get lost and lose sight of their family members and stuff like that. So just be aware of that as well.
And what do you do when you get lost? You go find that big red lifeguard tower, that red lifeguard truck driving down the beach, and we're going to reunite you with your family.
Perfect. So what about medical episodes? Like, there are people like dehydration or like what? Because I have heard that lifeguards feel like there's no rip current, nothing like that, but then somebody experiences.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why it's so important to swim in front of those staff lifeguard towers, because anything could happen, right? We have people that actually have seizures or medical episodes out in the water, and they have to be rescued. So it's so important to be in front of those lifeguards, even if you don't think the rip currents are strong that day.
Now, we know everyone listening has downloaded the Volusia Beaches app, and we know they're familiar with our social media channels. What are some other ways you guys are doing this messaging to warn people about some of the dangers and some of the things they need to look out for when they go in the ocean?
So one of the biggest things that started last year is actually a joint effort with the Florida Beach Patrol Chiefs Association. And they've actually got a grant funded by, you ever seen the Endless Summer license plates?
I have, yes.
All right, so that's a foundation. That money actually goes back to lifeguards. It started up in Jacksonville. So the Florida Beach Patrol Chiefs Association was able to tap into that. And throughout the state, we have 23 billboards, big blue billboards that say swim near a lifeguard. There's 23 of those through all the major interstates. And there's also 8 electronic baggage claims in the major airports. So we're trying to hammer people as they're coming into the state, they're driving to the beach, they see those billboards, they get off the airplane, they see swim near a lifeguard. Oh, what's that? There's a website on there, they can do a little more information on it. And then we've got some other things we do locally.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of things. We do a lot of PR events. We do media, a lot of media inquiries and stuff like that on camera with all the media outlets all the time. So in our beach app. Make sure you download that beach app.
And tell your family and friends that are coming into town, hey, just download this on your phone. It gives you so much information, and you'll have it right there with you on the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. And download that beach app. Look at it before you come to the beach for the day. It has all kinds of great information, and most importantly, it's where those staff lifeguard towers are.
One of the coolest things that I noticed about the beach app, which I knew we had this online on the website, but those beach cams are on the beach app as well, so I don't have to be at a computer to look at them. And you're looking at live, real-time snapshot of what the beach looks like, so I can see, hey, is the area I go to normally really crowded today? How's the tide looking? Is it all the way up to that seawall?
Yeah, absolutely. It has so much great information. It will let you can find out if the beach access ramps are open or closed. Like you said, the tide conditions, where the off-beach parking is, just all kinds of great information.
All right. So define this for me. We keep putting the message there, swim near a staff lifeguard tower. What would that definition of swim actually be? What if I'm just out, I'm just a little bit below 6 foot, never quite made it there. What if I wade out there in about waist deep water? Am I in danger of being swept away by a rip current or getting caught in one?
I think
absolutely. Absolutely. We tell people if there's not a lifeguard, don't go in the water, period. Okay? Because you can be in the water, a wave can, sweep you off your feet. Next thing you know, you lose your footing and you're in a rip current. So even if you go in waist deep water, you make sure you're in front of those staff lifeguard towers.
Yeah, and when we rescue people, when we talk about people in the water as far as our profession, we call them bathers. It's going to sound weird to say bathe in front of a lifeguard, so we say swim in front of a lifeguard because it has different definitions. But like Deputy Chief Malphurs said, one of the biggest causes of people getting caught in these rip current conditions, especially when we have surf, is you may be in waist deep water, and we consider that swimming. When a wave rolls through, what do you do when a wave rolls through? You jump up and let the wave pick you up, right? Well, even if you're at the edge of the rip current, the wave comes, picks you up, carries you out a little bit, puts you back on the sand. Every time that wave picks you up, it pushes you a little bit further out until you can't touch, and that's when people panic. But they downloaded the Volusia Beaches app. They're swimming in front of a lifeguard, and we go out there and help them.
All right, because some people might think, well, swimming means I have to go out far enough in the ocean till my feet no longer touch, but that's not the case. So just letting everybody know that. So let's switch gears a little bit to other potential hazards in the water, like jellyfish. Have y'all, has there been many jellyfish stings?
Over the last few days, we've had some jellyfish stings, and there's no real time of year. They're just at the mercy of the wind and the currents. So we will, if we are seeing an influx of jellyfish or man o' war, we'll fly that purple flag. So that's on the beach app as well. And also the lifeguard can let you know if when you go to the beach and you're in front of that staff lifeguard tower, talk to that lifeguard and they'll let you know what the dangers are out there for the day.
What do I do if I get stung by a jellyfish?
That's what I was going to talk about. First off, go to that staff lifeguard tower because they're going to have vinegar. You can bring your own vinegar if you want. What that do, when you get stung, it leaves something called a little nematocyst on your skin. So they can still fire off the toxin into your system. Ugh. So the last thing you want to do, they say, oh, you can rub sand on it. Well, all that does is break everything up, especially if you have tentacles, and it's going to hurt worse. So we put vinegar on it. It's going to fire everything off at once, and the pain's going to subside faster. A couple things to watch for. If anyone's allergic to bee stings or ant bites, kind of the same toxin, so you may have an allergic reaction due to that. Things to watch for as far as that is if you have maybe tightness of the chest, breathing, maybe hives around your neck or the top of your chest. That may cause for further medical treatment. That is excellent information because I did not know that, because I have many friends who are allergic to bee stings, but wow. Yeah, so the jellyfish, like they could have an allergic reaction if they get stung by jellyfish, same they would like a wasp or bee. And that's one of the first questions we ask when we're assessing them medically is, are you allergic to bee or ant stings? I did not know that.
What if they're along the shore? Can you step on them, or can you get stung by stepping on them?
They can still sting you, so don't pick them up and put them back in the water.
Okay, good to know. I've always wondered.
Some people do that. But no, they can still sting you when they're on shore. So just stay away from them if you see them.
And my question, because I do like going to the beach, and I see when a jellyfish has washed up to the sand, I see little kids burying it, like putting sand over it. Is that a smart idea or not? What would y'all recommend?
It's never smart. When I was young, we had a bunch of man o' war on the beach, and I thought it'd be cool to take a little periwinkle shell and pop the bag on top, and I ended up getting stung, and it hurt like the dickens. So we always advise staying away from it. Those jellyfish are more than 90+% water, so as the sun dries them up, they're going to just kind of dissolve into the sand.
So people do need to be aware when they're walking on the beach to watch where they're going.
Yeah, just avoid them.
Don't try to nudge them back in the water with your feet, right?
No, not at all.
All right, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.
We are Volusia County Beach Safety. We're here to serve Volusia County's 47 miles of unique coastline. You know, Volusia County beaches. Yeah, those beaches. But also these beaches. We have millions of visitors every year, and we work around the clock to keep our beaches safe and beautiful. And you can help.
Swim near a staff lifeguard tower.
Pick up your trash. And fill holes. Identify, avoid, and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water.
Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful. See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions, plus off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
We're back. I'm Heather Belden along with Clayton Jackson, and you're listening to Volusia Today, a public information program brought to you by the County of Volusia. And joining us today are Tammy Malphurs and A.J. Miller. They're with Volusia County Beach Safety. So I like night swimming, but absolutely only in a pool. You will not catch me in the ocean. While some people may think that that's a little bit spontaneous and adventurous, but what is your message to those people?
Don't swim in the ocean.
Very blunt, folks.
Don't swim in the ocean if there's not a lifeguard on duty. Period. Don't go in the water. Our lifeguards, part-time lifeguards, go off duty. The towers go off duty at 6 p.m. So don't come to the beach in the afternoon after that and expect to go in the water. That's when, drownings happen. And at night, we can't see you either. So it's extremely dangerous to go in the ocean at night.
All right, so we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit. We've been talking a lot about the water. So now let's shift our focus more on the sand. And what is our county known for across the nation? That's beach driving. So y'all are out there every day. Tell our listeners, what are some common mistakes people make when they decide to drive on our beach?
They don't pay attention. A lot of people come down on the beach. They're driving. They're looking at the water. They're looking at everything around them except for the traffic lane. So please, pay attention. Put your driver's side window down so you can hear what's going on. Put your headlights on so you're visible to the public. There's a lot of children on the beach. It's pretty much the public's playground. So pay attention when you're driving on the beach. Speed limit is 10 miles an hour. It's strictly enforced. Drive at a very low speed and, pay attention.
And I could see where, like, a lot of people, maybe this is the first time they've ever been to the beach, and they're awestruck. They're just driving, so they're looking left, looking right at everything, and texting is probably not as big of a deal on the beach because they're just struck by the beauty of what they see out there.
I think you said looking left, looking right. A lot of them are just looking east towards the water. And that's a big thing. We have that parking area on the west side of the traffic lane. And a lot of people like to hang out in that area in front or behind their vehicle. You can't lay out between your vehicles because of that safety hazard. If someone's going to try and pull in, they may not see you. So a lot of people are awestruck by the beauty of the ocean, and they're only looking left. They're not paying attention forward or to the west, where a lot of people are trying to cross. And it can happen fast, and they may not be paying attention driving, but also the people on the beach, if they're not used to a driving beach, they're not paying attention to the vehicles that are going up and down. So you may have two people that aren't paying attention to what's going on in their surroundings, and that's when we have incidents.
Yeah, every time we're there, I'm telling my kids, this is a road. This is not the beach. Yeah. We need to look left, look right. We're holding hands when there's cars in the area. Yeah. I think another thing I see a lot, too, is like soft sand and people getting stuck. Sometimes the traffic lanes are a little soft, and sometimes the parking spaces, it can get really soft. What's your advice there?
So I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but we do have an app for the Volusia beaches that you can download. And what it is with those approaches, it'll tell you the four-wheel drive areas only. And that is our predominantly soft sand areas. And the big thing is be careful, go slow. There are some techniques to be able to park into the soft sand to make it easier to leave. But the bigger thing is if it looks too soft and your car starts to shudder or bounce, just let off the gas a little bit, keep going forward until you find hard-packed sand. If you get stuck, please don't stand there and jam on the gas to spin your tires. It's only going to make it worse. Go to that red lifeguard tower, go to that red lifeguard truck, and we're going to assist you. We're going to be able to pull you out of the sand and get you on your way.
Yeah, a lot of times when you come down on the beach, you can talk to that toll taker also, and they'll let you know what areas are four-wheel drive only, if there are areas that when you come down on the beach, and they'll let you know which way to go. So make sure you talk to that toll taker as well and find out those areas.
And we'll have signs along the beach as you're driving down if you're encountering soft sand soon. It's not a suggestion. It is a four-wheel drive area only, so safely turn around and head back and stay in the hard-packed sand.
All right. And just another little public service announcement. You all did talk about turning the headlights on when they're driving down the beach. When you do find that perfect spot to post up for today, make sure to turn your headlights off, because you don't want to drain the battery and then you go to leave and it's like, uh-oh, like I am not going anywhere.
That is extremely common.
That's common.
Yeah. The benefit of that is it's another service we provide is all our trucks have jumper cables in them, so flag down that big red lifeguard truck and we'll
another service.
You guys do it all.
I did not know you all did that, but hey, that is wonderful information. So maybe even some of our local residents don't know this, but explain to me what those big poles are that people are
the conservation poles.
So they're not parking poles.
No, well, you have to make sure you're on the east side, the water side of those poles, because they put those poles up. They have to be there for us to be able to drive on the beach, for the turtles to nest, and it builds up the dune systems and stuff like that. So it's important when you come to the beach, pay attention to those poles and those signs. Make sure you park, on east of those poles, and pay attention to that. Don't double park. And also, like Captain Miller said, do not lay in between the vehicles. Either set up your belongings on behind your vehicle or in front of your vehicle, but not in between the vehicles. It can be dangerous, and it is a county ordinance violation as well.
Yeah, and we've also got the massive poles which identify our natural beach management area. No vehicles are allowed in there at all. We've got a couple throughout the county. And all this stuff is driven by data and statistics, because those natural beach management areas throughout history, that's the predominance of our sea turtle nests in those areas. So they keep driving out of there completely. And also, like Deputy Chief Malphurs said, up along the seawall, the dune area, the sea turtles have a tendency to lay their nest closer to the toe of those dunes. So that's why we have that 15 feet in the urban areas off the seawall of the dune line, or 30 feet in the natural areas.
And I'll make our environmental management team very happy by throwing this in there, is if you do see the sea turtle nest marked off, just observe it. You can take pictures, but don't go fiddle with it. Like that's nature taking its course right there. So, Ginger, I'm hoping you're smiling right now, because I did want to plug that in for you.
Well, we do have one quick thing I wanted to add is that we open the beach every morning at 8 a.m. in the internal nesting season. Sometimes that is delayed because we have turtle surveyors that go out on the beach and look for a new nest. So just because we're supposed to, just give us some time. Sometimes if we have a lot of nests, they get tied up. So we can't open the beach until the turtle surveyors have gone through and cleared that area of nesting sea turtles. So sometimes we're delayed a little bit, but it's for a good cause.
But you can see on the Volusia Beaches app,
right,
if your access is open yet. Right. So, if, just keep an eye on the app. If you have some time, go grab a coffee before you head to the beach, and you'll be ready to go in no time.
I like it.
So I have young kids. I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we go to the beach as much as we can. What advice do you have for me, or maybe if my parents take them, or anybody else who's traveling to the beach with kids this summer?
Absolutely, Heather. If you bring small children to the beach, you can opt for many areas of our beach are no driving, and you can find that on the beach app. But if you do bring small children to the beach where there is driving, it is extremely important to hold their hand whenever they cross that traffic lane. Also, another tip is set up all your belongings, your stuff that you're going to need for the day, your tent, your coolers, your chairs, everything you're going to need on the water side of the traffic lane. That way, the children will have no reason to travel back and forth across those traffic lanes.
What about shade structures? Should I bring a tent? Are there places where I can find some shade?
I would suggest bringing a tent, because, in the summertime it gets really hot out there. A lot of people, get dehydrated and drink plenty of water, bring shade. But make sure you take that tent home with you. You can't leave it up overnight.
Now, I have seen people's tents fly away. I know they come with some anchors sometimes, but are there easier ways to anchor it, or a best practice for anchoring it?
I would suggest tying it to your cooler.
Okay.
And something heavy. Cooler is always a great option, because usually it's full of, water and juice and ice. So, I would definitely suggest tying it to a cooler, tying it down, because even though the winds are calm, sometimes we get those gusts that come through and, that's what happens with those tents. They fly away and they could hurt somebody or damage. They've damaged vehicles and stuff like that.
And you mentioned take it with you, and that actually made me think of another thing that environmental management has is the Mermaid's Lost Treasure boxes. So some of our beaches have these boxes where people can bring toys that they find or toys that they don't want to take back with them. And it's just so cool what a little community we have here, that everyone's kind of looking out for everyone else. And
yeah, those are nice for the children.
Well, we got the 4th of July coming up here in a couple weeks. And it's actually on a Tuesday this year, so we can probably hypothesize that a lot of people are going to take off Monday too. So our beaches are a potential kind of 4-day extravaganza.
I took Friday off too, so.
Oh, have I? I don't know.
This is our notice right now.
Okay,
Kevin approved it.
I'll have to check in Chronos.
So 5 days.
5 days for Heather. So what are y'all expecting in a couple of weeks?
Well, with 4th of July brings very large crowds to the beach. So we're expecting very large crowds. So make sure you download that beach app. Find out where, those tides, what will be happening that weekend, swim in front of those staff lifeguard towers. And if we want to talk about fireworks, although they are legal in the state on certain holidays, they are not legal on the beach at all at any time.
Yeah. And regardless of what your crazy uncle thinks, the professional fireworks are just always that much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, stick to those. Don't bring your own, especially the amount of debris that's left on the beach the next day. With 4th of July evening, even though it's a holiday, we still close the beach to vehicles at 7 p.m. You have to be off by 7. So be aware of that. We'll keep extra staff on because we know we're going to have bigger crowds, but we will still be pushing vehicles off at 7 p.m.
And I love that you mentioned the 7 p.m. I have gotten a ticket in the summer because I thought it was sunset, but it is 7 p.m. during the summer.
Yep. Outside of turtle nesting season, November to May, it is sunrise to sunset. During turtle nesting season, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Good to know.
All right, before we take a quick break, just want to reiterate real quick, no fireworks on the beach. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
We are Volusia County Beach Safety. We're here to serve Volusia County's 47 miles of unique coastline. You know, Volusia County beaches. Yeah, those beaches. But also these beaches. We have millions of visitors every year, and we work around the clock to keep our beaches safe and beautiful. And you can help.
Swim near a staff lifeguard tower.
Pick up your trash. And fill holes. Identify, avoid, and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water.
Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful. See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions, plus off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
We are back with Volusia Today, and real quick, guys, tell us about a competition that's coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so we've got a relay lifeguard competition on June 30th. It's at 2 p.m. at the Harvey Beach Approach. We've got 7 6-person teams from around the state of lifeguards coming to showcase their skills and how awesome they are.
All right, with that, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful weekend, Volusia County.
If you have a comment about Volusia Today, or if there is a topic you would like to hear featured, please contact Volusia County Community Information at 1-866-345-0345.